Welcome back everyone, my name's Eltimar and we are going to be continuing our Let's Play of Shadowrun Dragonfall. Where we left off last time, we were outside. We need to find a DVD player to play these DVDs. I'm gonna go check with the tech person, first of all. I'm looking for something that can play a DVD RW. Really? That is old tech, very old. In fact, in just a moment. I'll go look. She turns to rummage through a bin of obsolete components at the back of her stall. Ah yes, here we are. The dwarf wrestles a mid-sized flat-screen display out of the bin. This display has old enough hookups to connect to a DVD player. RCA, you know, vintage. The player itself, though, this I do not have. You may wish to try your luck down at the junkyard. There's a scavenger there, a primitive man with a crude disposition. If anyone in the cruise bazaar can help you find your DVD player, he can. But he will almost certainly attempt to overcharge you for it. He takes a deep breath and smiles up at you. But you are not here for gossip. Shall we conclude our business? I can give you the display for, say, 200 yuan? 200 yen, sorry. Or new yen? It's new yen. Because it's yen, but it's new, I get it. Paul Amstel said to charge his account. Ah, very well. I'll have it packaged up and delivered to Air Amstel straight away. Best of luck finding your DVD reader. I wish you well. Well, we found 1 out of 2 things that we needed. Where is the junk pile? I guess it's here. Shroty. That is an old stove. I mean, that's an old stove even considering today. Anyways. Shorty. A stout old man looks up from whatever old tech he's tinkering with to squint at you through thick, old-fashioned glasses. He pushes them up with an oil-stained finger as he straightens up to nod at you. He speaks with a gruff but well-meaning tone, heavily accented with German tonality. Guten Tag. What can I do for you? Malit tells me you're the man to talk to about DVDs. That little shrew sent you my way, huh? Shrody's smile broadens. Will wonders never cease? Well, introductions are in order, I suppose. Shrody Buckman at your service. The old man raises a grimy hand in salute. Need something salvaged? Some components? Delight? I'm indeed your man. Wonderful. How about the DVD player? Well, let's see. I got something that'll work for you. Shorty rummages through the junk heaped on the table behind him. A few seconds later, he snatches a battered plastic lozenge shape from the pile. Ah, here we go. An old Korean player that I dug up last week. 2010 model. A real beauty. Shorty's smile broadens and he gives you a conspiratorial wink. I fixed her up and got her running, but without any discs to read, I've mostly been using her as a paperweight. Sounds like what I'm looking for. How much do you want for it? Shorty glances back at the DVD player, a rueful expression on his face. Well, I admit, I am loath to part with her. There are plenty of folks out there who would really appreciate an older player such as this, and I don't know what your intentions are for it. I suppose, given the time and trouble I put... I suppose the time and trouble I took putting her back together, that I'd be willing to part with her for, oh, say... Shorty's eyes dart over your gear, a calculated expression on his face. About 500 yen? I'm short on cash right now. Offer something in trade? The old man pauses for a moment, considering. I'll tell you what, a few months ago I had, well, a difference of opinion with that Barakazi fellow from the soy calf shop. He hasn't let me into his establishment since, and I'd sell my mother for a decent cup of coffee. You get me a cup of Turkish coffee, the real stuff, not the fake junk, and I'll give you the DVD player. Sound like a deal? Deal. Alright, I can go get him some coffee. That's not a hard thing to do. It's a bit of a walk, but whatever. Apparently my ability to read and talk at the same time is a bit delayed this morning. Can I talk to the dog? It has a conversation piece above its head. Oh, I can just... I'm gonna pet him. You should always pet the puppy. Oh, here we go. The Turk leans into you and keeps his voice low. I have information regarding that matter my people are looking into, Effendim. The one involving the surveillance device on my data tab. I'll tug. I've been waiting for my coffee for nearly an hour already. Are you growing the beans out back? Coffee vendor shouts, can't you see I'm speaking to an honored guest, you tower of quivering corpulence? His voice lowers again. Now then, as I was saying, we are fortunate that you happened upon that surveillance tab when you did. The people on the other end were planning a very bad thing, to be sure. What kind of bad thing? Quite bad, yes. Monica Schaefer was an important member of this community. More than most were aware of. This kiosk was under her protection. You know how it is in the Flux, Effendim. The governance of a place like this is tenuous at best. You never know who's going to be in charge from one day to the next. Monaco's a stabilizing force, and not just because she was dangerous. She was smart and funny and wise, and she had a way with people. They wanted to support her, to follow her, because they loved her. When she was killed, it left an opening for others. It would have meant bloodshed and pain if this council had been allowed to continue their plan, but they did not. We saw to it, you and I. Indeed we did, Altug. The Cruise Bazaar will maintain its stability a while longer, thanks to us, my friend. Now, what can I do for you, Dim? Would you like some coffee, perhaps? Coffee? As in real coffee, not soy calf? Yes, for individuals of refined taste, I offer genuine bean coffee from my native Turkey. The cafe owner looks you in the eye. The tone of his voice grows serious. This is a top-shelf item, friend, and not for the general public, only for those few discerning connoisseurs who can properly appreciate it. Tell me about the Turkish coffee. It's hand-packed by my family in Turkey, a true delicacy of the sixth world. This was considered a luxury even before the awakening, when bean coffee was everywhere. Every street corner, they say. Barakazi leans in close, lowering his voice to a conspiratorial whisper. Long hours in the shop have perfumed his body with the commingled scents of coffee, incense, and applewood tobacco. Trust me, if your coffee experience has been limited to soy calf, you must not deny your opportunity, or you must not deny yourself this opportunity. You will see God. Sure, how much? This is a specialty item, delivered at some cost. I cannot part with it for less than 15 nuyen a cup. Sure, done. Very good. He hands you a ceramic travel cup, which he then fills to the brim with dark steaming liquid. The scent is intoxicating. Is there anything more I can get you? Nope, I gotta go. I have coffee beside me right now. It's maybe not some super Turkish coffee, but you know what? It's pretty good. Also, my throat feels like someone cheese grated it, so the coffee is going to be a thing this morning. Feels lovely. Soothingly hot. Shorty looks up to you again from his work and nods. Hello again, mine here. I'm a bit busy. What can I do for you? Back for my DVD player. Well, it ain't yours yet, but I got it right here. I've been keeping it warm for you. Now you got my coffee, or do you have the 500 nuyen? Here's the coffee. Ah, thank you. Shorty gratefully accepts the coffee, then snaps the lid back and inhales deeply, wriggling his mustache as he processes the scent. Yep, that's the real stuff, alright. Shorty gingerly picks up the ancient device from the table and presses it into your hands. The plastic is scuffed and worn, and it rattles a bit when you move it. Give her some good use, okay? Okay. I will. Return to Paul with the goods. You got it. Let's go play a DVD. It seems that Amstel has assembled the team in your absence. They stand in a group around the old display that you had Melit deliver. On their faces you can see excitement and apprehension and curiosity and dread. Eltimar, have you procured a DVD reader? Here you go. Good, this should only take me a moment. Amstel disappears behind the ancient display. After a few minutes of fiddling with its battered inputs, he reappears, a satisfied look on his face. Everything appears to be functional. The disc should be ready to play. Won't know to keep us in suspense. Start the damn thing already. Eltimar went to the trouble of fetching everything. Let him do the honors. Amstel steps back, clearing a path for you to access the antique machine. A soft whirring sound fills the air as the ancient DVD player spins the disc up to speed. The scratched LCD display comes to life and a menu fills the screen. Track 1. The screen goes black and a cheerful digital chiming sound spills out of the display speakers. A crackle of static fills the air, coupled with a shrill electronic whine. After a few moments, the display goes live and a disheveled-looking man appears on the screen. His eyes glitter with excitement. The timestamp on the screen is 2034, September 15th. Hermie, I think we found her, after all this time. Fürschwinsch, I knew she wasn't dead. His speech is jittery. You can hear the urgency in his voice. She survived the Dragonfall, just as I've always said. I knew it, and I was right. The screen explodes into static, and the electronic whine in the background sharpens to a needle-like pulse of high-pitched sound. Somewhere in the background, Dante lets out a low whimper. The screen clears, and the excited face is closer to the screen than it was before. The words spilled out of him in a breathless tide. Taking a team into the stocks to retrieve her. The radiation be damned. We'll be taking the appropriate precautions, of course, but we must go. Hermie, I think the body may be nearby as well. Somehow she has survived for all of this time. The screen explodes into static again, then clears. The figure flickers across the screen. May not be back for some time. Look after Mom, okay? I worry about her. And Hermie, stay safe out there. I know that things are heating up in Berlin, and I know you. Student protests, civil uprising, and you'll be in the middle of it, I'm sure. Just stay safe, alright? And I'll do my best to do the same. I don't know what's going to happen when I step into the stocks, but I do know one thing. If the fire wing is still a danger, I will put an end to her once and for all. Number 2. The screen goes black for a moment, then a figure appears on the screen. Your late client, Green Winters. His elbow is planted on the table that he's seated at, and his chin rests on his palm. The other hand is wrapped around a bottle of cheap whiskey. The timestamp on the video reads 2053, December 25th. Found the message Adrian left me all those years ago. Got it cleaned up as best I could. Strange hearing his voice again. He pauses to take a long pull on the bottle. It's good to hear him, even if he did insist on calling me Hermie. Dr. Adrian Vauclair, the hero of the people, the Dragon Slayer, my brother. He grimaces and rubs his eyes. Hard to believe it's been almost 20 years. Alright, so I'm going to start recording these DVDs again. For me, for Adrian, and for whoever might wind up watching them. Every time I do this, it winds up feeling like a waste of time, but I keep doing it anyway on the off chance that I'll find something important. If I stumble into the clue that leads me to my brother, I know that I'm going to want it on film. I've been doing this for almost 20 years now, after all. No sense in quitting now. Christ, 20 years, all this time and still no leads, even with all my contacts and all my resources. He takes another long swallow of cheap liquor. Even with my legendary bullheadedness, I made no progress at all. I haven't turned up a single goddamn thing. Want to hear something funny? The closest I've gotten to a clue was a rumor. Apparently a team emerged from the stocks a while back. Nobody's clear on the date, but get this. He leans into the camera and gives us a conspiratorial wink. Supposedly they vanished without a trace. Oops. Went too fast on those. That's okay. Abruptly, Winters leans forward. That's what I get for hiccuping while I click. And reaches for something off screen. The display goes black. A few seconds later, the main menu returns. There's a grinding sound from the DVD player, and Green Winter's image appears on the screen. There's an eager look on his face. The timestamp is 2054, October 12th. Stumbled upon this archival footage of Fierschwing's original attack months before the Dragonfall. Easy to forget how devastating it was. Adrian saved a lot of people by bringing her down. I've got the footage all queued up to play, starting it now. Additional comments to follow. The slow whir of the DVD player shifts to a high-pitched whine, and a new timestamp appears in July 6, 2012. It's difficult to make out what you're seeing at first. The screen is dark and smoky, and the telltale flashes of emergency vehicle lights flicker on the periphery of the screen. The camera pushes in, and you can make out two figures standing in a ruined landscape. All at once, the sound cuts in. Again, for those of you joining us, we are coming to you live from Stolberg. A few hours ago, the Dragon Fierschwing launched an unprovoked attack on this sleepy Harz mountain town, and you can see the results behind me: fire, ashes, and blood. We are joined tonight by a survivor of this latest and most horrifying attack. The reporter turns to face a pale man standing behind him. Sir, I understand that you've been through a terrible ordeal. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us tonight. The camera switches to a middle-aged man with a haunted look in his eyes. He stammers out a reply. Yeah, of course. If you could, sir, tell us about the attack. Or tell us the people at home about your experience of the attack. It was horrible, just pure chaos. So many people are dead, people I know roasted alive or trampled to death trying to escape. My own house was burned to the ground during the attack. My family, we have nothing now. You all made it through the attack though. Your wife, your kids? Yeah, we made it, thank God. We rode out the attack in a small shelter, me, my wife, and our 2 daughters. The shelter, it protected us, but the heat was unbearable. We couldn't have stayed in there much longer than we did. How long were you holed up in there? 3, maybe 4 hours? I don't know. We just stayed inside until the heat died down and the screaming stopped. And what happened after that? When it was over, you know, when the air cooled down. The reporter nods and the man continues. We stepped outside. There was nothing left, just smoldering wreckage and this dense cloud of black oily smoke and the stench in the air. God, that smell. It smelled like roasting meat. There's a long pause from the tortured look. On his face you can tell that the man is struggling to decide whether or not to continue speaking. Eventually he does. My girls, they found what was left of their nanny outside. Her body, what was left of it, was slumped against the shelter door. I kept telling myself that I couldn't hear her pounding to get in, but that isn't true. I could. I just couldn't bring myself to open the door. I couldn't risk my family like that. Not for her, not for anyone. Thank you, sir, for taking the time to speak with us. Yeah. You heard it here, an absolutely chilling account of tonight's attack. Again, the town of Stolberg has been reduced to ash. Another victim of the fire wing. Stay with us for more up-to-the-minute reporting on Fierschwing's reign of terror. Green Winter's face reappears on the scene. Okay, it's time for a new approach. Adrian's a complete dead end, so that much is pretty clear by now. I'm gonna do some digging on Fierschwing instead. Let's see where this goes. Number 4. This is at 2054, October 31st. Well, that was a bust. Little progress on Fierschwing either. He shakes his head. I don't know, it's weird. The information is there, it's just wrong somehow. It's too well laid out, too simple. Real life is messy, and this feels a little too neat. That's not the only thing that's nagging me. I'm getting that tingling feeling up and down the back of my neck again. It feels like I'm being tracked. I'm no Matrix hotshot like Clockwork or Schaefer, but I'm good enough to know when somebody's on my scent. Gotta install some new security measures. Can't be too careful. The display goes black. This is November 9th, 2054. Christ. I'm getting too close to something. There's a trail of bodies, and there were disappearances. Gearbox, Martian, Peregrine. They've all disappeared within the past few years. Gearbox went AWOL yesterday, and they were all making the same sorts of inquiries about the firewing that I have been. There are ghost stories spreading about the around the Decker community. Stories about Deckers disappearing and then showing up again later, but wrong somehow. Scary stuff, and I'm starting to think that's true. Blitz leans in to whisper to you. I know the stories he's talking about, Chief. Never but much talk on them, not till now. Could these rumors be related to what's happening here? Am I being paranoid? He pauses for a moment, as if seriously considering the question. Then he shakes his head and slams his fist on the table. No, I don't think so. Something big is happening here, and I'm right in the middle of it. Iger cuts in. That's a bit of a leap. One other thing. Tolstoy told me a story about this kill team that might be related to all of this. Apparently a Decker named Hellebore posted a theory about Fierschwing in the Shadowlands BBS about 5 years ago. About an hour later, a mil-spec team showed up in Meat Space and cooked her entire apartment with her in it. What if Tolstoy told me it was true? Hellebore live posted the event, described her killer, the scraping orc with skin grafts. Bum bum bum. Then the whole thread disappeared, gone without a trace. Leap, Iger love? Sounds like he's on the right track to me. Iger holds her silence, but concedes the point with a nod. On the screen, Winters pauses. He looks like he's working up to something. Finally, he speaks. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. This has got to be about Fierschwing, all of it. Adrian was right about her. She's still alive and she's out of the socks. She's covering her tracks, working in the shadows, preparing to rise again. And that means I have to find you, Adrian, for everyone's sake. Thankfully, I got a lead. For the first time in decades, I've got a solid goddamn lead. I've backtraced all the Matrix nodes to the Hellebore I was looking for, back to before she got cooked. Whoever's been purging the Matrix didn't think about that, and I found that she turned up. Winter stabs a few keys on his keyboard, and an image expands to fill the screen of his monitor, a satellite photo of a rural landscape, annotated with GPS data, a set of map coordinates. So now I've got a target, a place to start digging, the Harfeld Manor, conveniently located on an isolated stretch of countryside miles away from prying eyes. Matrix records indicate that some sort of data vault exists beneath the estate, so that's what I need to get into. And this is where we came in. As if on cue, a familiar image whirls onto the monitor. To Winter's left, Monica. I think I'm going to tap Schaefer for this job. She's got the skills to bypass whatever security they're running out there, and she's gullible enough to take the job in the first place. I'll feed her some line about flux state security, and she'll eat it up with a spoon. Warned her. Amsel's voice is choked with rage. I warned her. On the display, Winter's mouth parts in a broad grin. Time to put plans into motion. By this time tomorrow night, I should have the information that I need, and on the off chance that Schaefer gets taken out, well, that'll tell me something too. Can't make an omelet and all that. Till then. Last one, November 10th, a day later. There's a blur of motion and the haggard form of Green Winters slumbers into frame. Suspicions confirmed. Schaefer dead. Christ. Winters reaches a shaking hand off camera. A moment later, it returns clutching a cheap plastic drinking glass. He gulps something down, wipes his mouth with the back of his hand and takes a deep breath. Okay. Back up, slow down, start from the beginning. Winters closes his eyes and makes a visible effort to calm himself. When he speaks again, his voice is steady. Got the call from my contact in the cruise bazaar. Schaefer was killed on the estate run. Matrix security at the estate cooked her brain. Considering Schaefer's skill and experience, on-site IC must have been extreme even by Berlin standards. Security of that kind costs money, real money. Given the evidence uncovered so far, corporate involvement unlikely. The connection to the firewing is too strong. So let's come right out and say it. The dragon is what we're dealing with here, and the smart money says that she's coming for me next. Well, I won't go down without a fight. I still got my contacts and I got my connections, and the flux state can be a hell of a weapon for the man who knows how to manipulate it. Winters takes another long pull from his glass, grimaces, and swallows. Time for me to make my play. Ghost stories are no, missing Deckers are no. I gotta jack into the Matrix and start pulling strings. The countermeasures I installed earlier should be more than enough to keep me safe for the 20 minutes I'll be in there. Winters drains the rest of his glass, then tosses it back over his shoulder. A moment later, you hear the dull, clattering sound of hard plastic on linoleum. Schaefer's death was tragic. She was a staunch supporter of the F-State, but all things considered, better her than me. Winters finishes for something off screen. A moment later, his hand reappears, clutching his data jack cable. He plugs the cable into his head, and the screen cuts to static. As your finger nears the eject button, a black screen cuts in over the static. moment later, Green Winter's haggard face appears. If you're watching this, then I guess that they caught up to me. They will be after you too now. Blitz whispers into your ear again, more harshly this time. What the hell is this? Why didn't you warn me about this before I came here? We didn't know. Not exactly. Not exactly. I didn't come here to get hunted by a dragon. I'm not even part of this. You are now, whether you like it or not, so quiet down and stop bothering him. Whoever you are, whatever you think you're after, you need to find Dr. Adrian Vauclair. Not because he's my brother, because if Fierschwing is rising again, he's the only one that can stop her. You've seen what happens to people who get too close to this. I'm dead, dozens of others have died, you'll be next, unless you can find Adrian. The screen cuts to static, the message is over. Oh man, what have we gotten ourselves into? The room goes quiet as everyone struggles to process what you've seen on the DVD. Finally, Dietrich breaks the silence. A dragon? Son of a bitch. Green Winter sent us up against a dragon? The Firewing. Amsel's voice is thick with dread. She lives. I'm really starting to regret the fact that I didn't just stay at the hotel. Iger ignores him. Wait a sec, we don't know for certain. Dietrich lays a hand on Iger's shoulder. The evidence seems pretty convincing to me, love. I'll even take it a step further. I think that secret facility that we stumbled into was her lair. The room goes silent. Iger and Glory exchange glances. After a moment, Dietrich continues. Just think about it. The Decker that Winters got those coordinates from was posting about Fierschwing. Then she was killed off by the same orcish bastard that attacked us after Monica died. It's a direct link between the dragon, the scarred orc, and Harfeld Manor. And then Winters was killed by the same thing that killed Monica. Exactly. My gut tells me the dragon is down there, Eltimar, someplace far below the surface. I think we knocked on the door to her lair without even knowing it, and I think that given what we've seen, the dragon will do whatever it takes to keep us quiet about it. Okay, going on the assumption that there is a dragon, and that she will come after us, what do you propose we do about it? Let's find Vauclair. Yes, Eltimar's right. Finding Dr. Vauclair should be our priority. If we're going up against a dragon, we need to find ourselves a dragon slayer. Winter spent 20 years searching for Vauclair and it got him nowhere. How do you propose that we find him? With the help of an information broker. I'll go talk to Eltug then. For this? No. While Erebert Ghazi is very capable, the task of this magnitude is beyond him. We need to make contact with the premier information broker in Berlin. We need to talk to Alice. Blitz scoffs at Amsel. Alice, best of luck. I hope you're rich. Amsel raises an eyebrow. For this? Rich enough. Even if only just. Who's this Alice? The most prominent figure in Berlin's shadow community. Ex-Schrockwell Richter. She provides information retrieval services for the F-State. Amsel turns to the computer console behind him and runs his finger over a virtual keyboard. The machine begins to hum. If Winters was right, if Vauclair is still alive, she can help us find him. The console spits out a stick of black plastic. Amsel plucks it from the computer and hands it to you. Here, your key to speak with Alice. A cred stick? Amsel nods. An encoded cred stick, yes. 10,000 went Nuyen. Alice will not show her face for less. This represents the last of my personal savings, Eltimar. Make this meeting count. I'll take care of it. Good man. Take the U-Bahn to the Alstad Spandau. There you'll find a connecting tube that the locals refer to as the rabbit hole. You'll find a method of contacting Alice there. Don't call it that in front of her, though. Word on the street is she hates it. Please hurry. While you're out, I'll work on acquiring new contracts for the team. Alice is the best there is at what she does, and her services carry a price tag to match. Oh man, my voice is really sore today. My throat's really sore today. I think this might be my only video today, unfortunately. Any jobs? Nope. That's unfortunate. Alright. I think I'm going to call it a video here. We're going to head out into the U-Bahn in the next video. Like always, if you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them below. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Take care.